Hey, all, this is Keith with the Common Sense Practical Prepper podcast, June 10th, 2025. Well, I've recorded this and re-recorded this about 5 or 6 times, so I'm just going to go ahead and go on a bit of a rant about the riots and about Los Angeles. Boy, Los Angeles, I'll give you this. You know how to put on a good riot, all right? Now, with the kidding aside, let's just get a few things out in the open. These are paid protesters. These are paid agitators, anarchists, terrorists, domestic terrorists, whatever you want to call them. It's not organic. It's not a bunch of people sitting around the living room going, we need to do something about this. These people are being paid. The ads are in Craigslist. They're all over the place. $600 a week, $1,200 a week. They're actively recruiting people to go out and cause damage, harm citizens, harm police officers, burn the city, and then obviously there's some looting going on. Now, is it Karen Bass, the mayor? She basically said that if ICE was not deporting criminal illegal aliens, that this would not have happened. Well, if they had not allowed a bunch of illegal criminal aliens and treated LA as a sanctuary city and the state as a sanctuary state, the federal government would not have to step in and enforce the law. Maxine Waters, and I cringe when she comes on the screen, actually did a press conference and said, the videos that you are seeing are not real. There is nothing happening in Los Angeles. There is no violence. There are no people attacking police and burning buildings. Now, I'm not sure what's more disturbing. The fact that she is going to get out, well, she's a politician, she's going to get out there and lie to everybody's face, or is it the people that are sitting at home going, yep, I knew it, not a thing going on. That's why I voted for you, Maxine, because you're out there speaking the truth. Yep, everything I'm seeing is all lies, all AI generated. Newsom had the gall to come out and say the videos you're seeing could be up to 48 hours old. Well, dear God, if I see a video of a Rite Aid or a convenience store on fire Sunday night, whoa, 48 hours later, well, then obviously that is such old news. Let's just move on and talk about the NBA playoffs. These people are an absolute joke. Now, if you don't think that something like this could happen in your town, you're sorely mistaken. And I've said this before. Now, if you're in the middle of BFE, Iowa, living amongst the corn, trust me, I was born in the Midwest. I know all about living amongst the corn. If that's where you are, you're probably safe. But this is all part of a larger picture where these paid people, these agitators, and this is all dark money coming from the far, far, far left. It's meant to cause division within the country, upend capitalism. You'll hear them, down with capitalism, burn it down, socialism, communism. I'm really not too familiar with many countries where socialism and communism has worked out very well, but I digress. So this is all part of a bigger plan to try to tear the country apart, make the current administration look bad. And basically, they're just egging on the current administration. They activated the National Guard. They brought in some troops from Camp Pendleton, or 29 Palms, some Marines. Now, those Marines are not, there's rules of engagement. You can look up the posse comitatus, martial law, and a few other legal terms to see what exactly happens when the president suspends habeas corpus and declares martial law. There's a lot of little nuances, but for the most part, the National Guard and then the U.S. Marines are there to protect federal facilities and then protect the federal law enforcement, DHS, FBI, all them, ATF, to allow them to do their job. So they're not out there they're holding the lines, protesting and stuff like that, holding the protesters back, but they're not going out and actively arresting people. If they're detaining people, they're then handing them over to the local authorities. I'll tie this into being, to being prepared for situations like this. If you haven't seen enough reasons by now not to have at least a 72-hour kit, I'm really not sure what other type of convincing that you need. Now, there's all of these little mini protests and everything going on all around the country. I'm not even going to give the website any bandwidth, but you can look it up if you want to. I'm here in Richmond, Virginia. They've got one set for Saturday evening. I guess protesters and stuff, they don't get up before the crack of 3. So I guess they're going to have to protest later on to the evening when it gets dark. And of course, when it gets dark, you're more difficult to see and you can run around and do a bunch of crazy things. But it's safe to say that Richmond City Police and the Virginia State Police will be monitoring that. With the exception of the Summer of Love in 2020, a lot of the little demonstrations and the counter protests and stuff here in Richmond really don't have a lot of teeth to them. Again, with the exception of the Summer of Love in 2020, and that was just nasty. But folks, be prepared. The poor people on the interstates, these folks are taking over the interstates. You're trying to get home. You're trying to get to the doctor. You got a pregnant wife. You got to get to the dentist, pick up the kids from the daycare. These people don't care. They're being paid to do this. And the fact that a lot of these people take an opportunity to then go loot 7-Elevens and Apple stores and call in the Google cars, what are they, Waymos or something? They call in the driverless cars, then they set fire to them. So Google isn't exactly, a bastion on the right. They're a far left company, and it just strikes me kind of funny that these anarchists and these domestic terrorists are destroying vehicles that belong to Google, a company that's on the left. But if you're out to destroy capitalism, what better company to start with than with Google? All right, folks, I'm going to take a few deep breaths, get my chakras in line, and try to calm down. But this has just really got me riled up just to see this in our country, and then to see and hear the denial that if the government was not enforcing federal law, this wouldn't have happened. Quick little sidebar. The thing that kicked this off was a federal operation where they were going in to arrest and seize the assets of this one particular company. Now, this gentleman, he committed second-degree murder. He's been deported. Now he's back, so he's illegal. And when he was deported, he was into money laundering and a lot of really bad things. So this was a bad dude. So they were going after him, and this is an operation that's been planned for months. This wasn't ICE agents going to construction sites or Home Depot or some of the other places that they've gone and arrested people and checked IDs and that sort of thing. But very, very sad to see this happen.